Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is, Raiders versus the world. Talk about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, so we can take some good things away from this victory that we had against the Titans, but there are some things we need to clean up. Today, I'm going to focus on the defensive line. This defensive line played a really good game against the Titans, not only in pressuring the quarterback, but also in chasing down and having those hustle plays, especially by Jonah Lauulu. These are things that we need to have. I've said it a bunch of times. If you guys have been following me for any length of time, you know I've said for quite some time the defensive line for the Las Vegas Raiders is the engine that runs the machine. This defense will go as the defensive line goes. When we're getting caught up in quick passes and not getting pressure on the quarterback, like what happened against the Colts, we're going to get shredded in the secondary. Our secondary isn't that good. It's just not. There's a lot of players there who are bouncing around. There's a lot of guys there who are young guys on the come up. Maybe they can get better and gel in the future. But as of right now, the secondary is not the strength of our defense. The linebacking core in coverage is not great. Making big plays, splash plays, and against the run, they're pretty good. But against the pass, they're not special. They can be exposed out in space. So we need the defensive line in waves, not just Maxx Crosby, but other guys to go out there and create havoc plays, create not only sacks, but pressures and quarterback hits and tip passes and all that stuff. We need these guys to do it, especially against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is a freaking wizard. He throws the ball at funky angles across his body. It doesn't matter. This guy can get the ball pretty much anywhere from any angle of the field. We need to get him chased down and on the ground. Don't let him get out in space where he can kind of use that funky. It's weird. He doesn't look like he's running that fast, but he's running past people, and he's bigger than you might think. So he does that sneaky thing that's really chicken shit, where he'll fake like he's going to run out of bounds, and then he'll run over a guy. Look, he has all these little tricks. They never throw any flags on him, so we need to make sure we do it in the pocket and not out wide. When he's out wide and we chase him down, he's going to be able to make some things happen. We need to keep him in the pocket under pressure. It's going to take a lot more than just Maxx Crosby to get that done. Let's hear what Pete Carroll had to say about the win, about what he saw on tape, and what he felt about the defensive line and how they played against the Titans and what they need to do moving forward against the Chiefs.
Morning.
Pete, I was looking back at yesterday's game. Did you feel like you kind of found that balance between the run and the pass game that you've been looking for when you was talking about you want to run the ball more? So did you feel like you found that kind of balance between the run and the pass?
We found the balance team-wise, more so than just offensively. You know, 'cause we weren't as effective as we'd like to be in the running game, but we did it. 32 carries. That's a real statement, and it played right into the compliments of what the special teams guys did. They gave up no big plays, created a little bit. Defense played great and did a lot of great things for us. So it was complimentary football all around. That's kind of how we've won over the years, and it doesn't have to be as productive. You know, it just needs to be really solid, and you keep the ball away from the other guys, and you get a chance to win the turnover thing, and all that happened.
Was there anything, Pete, that after watching the film stood out to you that maybe you didn't notice from field level and talk about after the game?
Yeah, a couple of things. Well, the first thing was the pursuit on defense and the perimeter play that we had, guys coming out of the stack. Jonah had a couple terrific pursuit plays, and Kai Blue had a couple great containments on the edge when they were trying to get the ball around us, and it showed the intensity of the guys flying. I think Jeremy had a really good play too on a perimeter play. When you can discourage those, then okay, you eliminate part of the game, and we did it just with effort. I think the other side of it too was I thought Ashton ran really hard again. And he's a physical presence when you're in playing him. He's going to break tackles. He's going to bounce off. Is he breaking more tackles than anybody? Is that stat still there? Yeah. Well, that's a statement, and it's a style that we want to stand for, and it's pretty clear. You can go back and you can see this is something that we've always tried to develop in our guys and our team, and so that jumped out at me. I thought Ashton's in the running game attitude was there, and then what happened on the other side was effort-wise was really good on defense.
There's more Jack Besh yesterday as opposed to Dante Thornton. Dante's usage, was that kind of more what the game plan was against that particular team, or?
Yes, obviously it was. That's what we did, you know, Jack didn't get any balls, but he played a bunch of plays, and we ran the ball a lot, and he was involved in some of that. And it wasn't in any plan to keep Dante from not playing. It's just kind of the way the rotation went.
Talk about running the ball. Ashton, I noticed, had a lot of really good ones on the outside or going to the right side with Jackson and DJ. Can you just talk about how much you've seen them grow on that right side and what you like from them?
Yeah, we did get the ball out on the perimeter pretty well, and you can see how it's kind of easy for Ashton when he gets out there to make 8-10 yards. He can get it almost with every opportunity. Not always does the guy just miss the tackle, but it's hard to get him down. And those guys getting him out and making the edge for him, and the receivers blocking to help us out, all of that took place.
Turnovers and pressure has been something that's been an emphasis lately and was able to get it yesterday. How big is that, not just for the game and the win, but moving forward for those defensive?
Well, it is what we've been selling, that we're going to play like, and so it was good to be ahead in the game, and they forced the issue a little bit, and play calling was such that we could take advantage of the opportunities, and the guys really executed really well. We were very clean on defense yesterday, assignment-wise, principles, containment, those big issues were really dealt with in good fashion, and so it gives you a chance to play good. Stayed on top of the deep ball really well, kept them from making any explosive plays to speak of, and all that fits together.
How valuable is it to take a win into Kansas City now?
Say that again.
How valuable is it to take a win into Kansas City rather than, just from a middle standpoint?
Well, it's always really valuable. I mean, yeah, it's positive and it feels good and all that. It happens to be Kansas City that's next, and so we'll do everything we can to prepare and come off this game clear-minded and really drilled into the challenge that they bring. It's a tremendous program that Andy's been running for a long time, and we're going to have to play really well to have a chance. But if we prepare well, we'll have a chance, and that's all we can ask for.
You were hopeful about Brock Bowers last week. Does that increase a little bit?
I don't know that. I mean, I'm hopeful, yeah. But we're looking after him. There's a big bye coming up and all that kind of stuff. The next week, a couple weeks you get, before you have to come back. So I can't tell you. I'm optimistic always, but that doesn't mean we're getting him back. So you look the long haul of it. It might be best, to just guarantee that he's full speed and back. So we'll see how we handle that.
Pete, I was wondering, how is Aiden O'Connell progressing as well as Lonnie Johnson?
Yeah, both those guys are doing great. They're in their rehab. They both have beautiful attitudes about it. Lonnie's been battling. He's trying to get back now, and so it's kind of the same format of this week coming up, and the next week off. It gives these guys a real chance to guarantee it and maximize their return opportunity. So, but they're doing well. Aiden's throwing the ball, Lonnie's on the field running, and it's just a matter of this week, next week kind of thing. So we're in good shape on those guys.
On the back end of talking about Brock, when you look at a player like Michael Mayer over these last 3 weeks, and especially the game he had yesterday, do you see him as being more invaluable than you ever would have thought? Now at this point.
Well, no, he showed us. He's shown us that, through camp and all that. And Mike's had a great run since we've been here. I mean, he's looked terrific. And when he and Brock are out there and Ian filling in, those guys, it's a great group. For Mike to come back and catch 5 or 6 balls, whatever it was yesterday, and score and a couple of big third down wins and all that, that's what he's been doing. So you can see how hopeful we are for when Brock returns. Brock's one of our very best players, and it'll make a difference. But Mike's doing everything that we could hope for right now, and so I don't think that game was any. We've already been really high on him.
What was your thought process on the left side of your offensive line? How you thought they played and how they?
Well, it was your Stone's got a challenge. He's been a backup for a while. He started a handful of games, a dozen games or something like that, whatever it is, and so he's got to just keep going, and keep battling. We got to keep helping him properly, and he really gives you everything he's got, preparation wise, smarts wise, technique wise. He's stepping and kicking the way you're supposed to, and he's got to survive it. It's hard. And look, there was a portion in the game where the pass rush really all of a sudden was a big deal, and then we put it to rest. In the second half, we didn't have to. It wasn't a factor much, but there was a spurt in there where they were really hot, and we were struggling a little bit, and we didn't give up a sack in the second half. So
It appeared to me Jordan had really improved and had a better game also. Did you see that on film?
He was really solid. He's been solid throughout. There's times he gets in situations with enormous guys, and sometimes he's battling up against it. But most of that is we have to be right. Be really precise about the way we help each other and our footwork and all that, so we don't create the little voids in there that can give guys penetration opportunities. But he's doing really well. He's a really solid player for us.
I know there were some empty seats yesterday, but that crowd was extremely
I thought the crowd was
loud.
great. The crowd was great. They helped us.
Where Tennessee got a penalty, and I think it was crowd related, and
Yep.
you were applauding. It looked like you were applauding the crowd.
Of course I was. Yeah.
Were you? And
Heck
can you
yeah.
talk about, because that's how you.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to reestablish the franchise and win the crowd.
Yeah, because they factor in. They help win. They help you win, and we need them. And yesterday, wherever, I don't know how many people were there, but it didn't matter. The crowd was right there with us when we needed it. This is a classic setting, where we hopefully we're ahead in the game. They're trying to come back. They're trying to finish it. We're looking for our chance to kill the clock, and all of the things that happen at the end of the game are all connected, and so when they help us rush the passer because they can't hear the cadence, and you see how effective Max has been over the years, and getting off the line of scrimmage, all of that is all connected. So we play together, and I was thrilled to have that. It felt like the factor was there. I didn't care how many people were there, whatever it was.
Did I see that right though? Were you applauding the crowd?
Yeah.
It looked like it.
Yeah,
Special teams wise.
happened the last time we heard too.
Alex Bachman, what he did on punt returns, and
Yeah.
also just the punter, AJ Cole doing what he did.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's if we give a moment here too, the special teams played great yesterday, and it's been a problem for us. We have not played the way we need to play, and we've been giving up too many explosive plays and all, and so yesterday they did their part throughout. Just to have a little burst a couple times on the punt returns was great. Remember, AJ has a sprained ankle. His ankle's still sprained, but he got a couple kicks in on Friday, showed that he could do it. Went out there, did a great job, and we had in this game a part of the game that I love. We had a couple opportunities to sink him back in there, and we did it, and we factored into how we played, and that was. So it really felt like a complete game for us, and with all kinds of areas to play better. Devin White had a great football game, and he had 4 tackles he missed, and I say that because he had a great game, and he'll be all pumped up about it, and he should be. But we can do so much better, and so hopefully we try to make this start and get going.
Speaking of Devin White, how valuable is it to have those veteran linebackers, Jamal, Devin, E-Rob?
I love the way they play. I really love the way they play, and E-Rob has a big factor in that. His style is exactly what we're looking for. Downhill, lights you up, really aggressive, really a great communicator, to make sure that we make our calls, take advantage of the opportunities. And the guys, I thought they played a really good game as a group. I agree with you, and I think E-Rob's kind of in the center of that, and but that's 3 wild freaking football players. Those guys love to play the game, and it's fun to see them have that kind of game.
Seems like their leadership also helps keep the rest of the guys in the locker room together.
There's no question. They're so driven, and you connect that with Max. We have a winning group there. We have that the defense can really play like that. That isn't a surprise. I think if had the scores been a little bit more in our line, been ahead and all, you would have recognized it even sooner. Remember that there was just a couple weeks ago we were a fraction of a second off on a field goal to win that game too. And we just a hair late or whatever it was that gave them a chance to block a kick. We're so much closer to being on the other end of it than it has appeared. It's why this game is important to us to get this win, and at home and all the rest of it. It is important as we take our next step forward. Hopefully we can capitalize on it.
What were your thoughts on Caillou Blue Kelly's yesterday? Kind of bounce back game for him.
He did a great job yesterday. Yeah, and been conversations about his play and all. I thought it was a really good game plan that Pat put together to make sure that the corners were really a factor and effective. He's a really good football player. You guys continue to see him make big hits and tackles. He'll continue to do that. We have hung him out. He has been out there on his own somewhat earlier in the year. We helped him a little bit more with some of the calls, and that's just a general part of our mix. But he's such a good football player. He shows up when you give him chances. The perimeter passes that he makes the big play on, a couple tackles he had on the tackle on the tight end on the sidelines was a gorgeous play. So we'll count on him to keep coming on.
Back to those veteran linebackers, Pete, they're having a big impact on Tommy Eichenberg. How much does it help him as a future player having those guys?
Yeah,
today?
no, it is. And Tommy got a dozen plays or so yesterday. Did a nice job when he had his chance. They're such good symbolic type of linebackers. I mean, they really talk the talk and walk the walk, and they're physical as hell. And you can't ask for more in terms of setting the tone of what's expected and all that. So, yeah, Tommy can jump in anytime and play for us. He's ready to go.
A lot of deep stuff from Pete Carroll this week. It was a lot of praise going out to players on the defensive line and also the linebacking core, and also Kyle Kelly in the secondary. There's things that show up on the stat sheet, and there's things that just don't show up on the stat sheet. Jonah Lauulu, he did have a nice game. He had a sack, he had a pass defense, he had I think like 3 tackles, but it's the effort on those tackles. He went out there and he sniffed out a quick screen. He ran out there from his defensive tackle position and was the guy to make the play. And I think it was a tackle for loss. These are the type of plays that don't show up on the stat. It just shows up as a regular tackle. But that play would have gone for a long gain had he not been there. These are things that we really need to focus on, because these are the type of plays that good teams make. The individual guys that maybe not the stars, but like the peripheral players make big plays that maybe the stars can't make at the time. We need to be cognizant of the fact that these guys going out there and making their big plays, maybe it's not 5 sacks. Maybe it's not 2 sacks like Max Crosby had. Maybe it's just a tackle for loss at a key time. Maybe it's like Thomas Booker. He only had 1 tackle, but he recovered a fumble. Like, these are things that these guys need to do. You don't have to be a Superman. Just do your job on that specific play. Do it to your best of your ability. And if you have the chance, make the play when it's in front of you. And this defensive line needs to play really well against the Chiefs. They've only given up, I think, 10 sacks all season. And, Mahomes is a wizard at moving around and throwing the ball on the run. So getting pressure on Patrick Mahomes, it's no different from what we've done for years against Patrick Mahomes. We got to make sure we can get home with 4. If we can do that, or maybe blitz only 1 and do it sparingly, or really disguise it well like Patrick Graham knows how to do, I think we can put a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. The games that he hasn't played as well are the games when he has constant pressure in his face from the middle, not very much from the outsides, because when it's from the outside, he can step up and he has lanes to run, or he can throw on the move. We need to get that pressure up the middle. So either run stunts to get the ends up the middle, or have these defensive tackles really win their battles up the middle. All right, let's go ahead and take a listen to what Jonah Lauulu had to say about his game and about the defensive line and in general against the Titans.
It was really good to, finally go out there and play a game where all 3 phases of the team were going out there and executing. And yeah, it just feels really good to go out there and put on a performance like that.
And for the defensive line in particular, just going 5-6 sacks at the Killers today. I mean, just talk about what you guys were able to do.
Like I said, it's just a good feeling knowing that we go to work every day, and we practice really hard. On Wednesday you guys would just have to see the stuff we do out there as a D line, and it's not even just our coach, but shout out Robbie for real, because he's the one that's at the top of everything. But it's just us coming together collectively and pushing each other, because our mindset is to be the heartbeat of the team, and because it starts up front. It's, going out there setting the tone, and then going out there putting that performance on it, it just feels good, knowing that the work was worth it.
Especially coming from so many different defenders, how valuable is that? Not just 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah. Everybody balled out. Max balled out. Lecky went out there like 5th play, got a sack. And then Dev. It's just good seeing all the guys. All the hard work we put in since the spring, seeing it come to fruition.
What do you think the key was for you guys on 3rd down today?
Obviously, we struggled last week on 3rd down, and so that was a big emphasis this week in practice. And so, as you could tell, that definitely showed that we worked extra hard on that during the weekend. Went out today and executed.
You guys were flying out there. You brought up Lecky. It seemed like there was a little extra juice when Lecky got that sack today.
Oh yeah, man! I was excited for Lecky. That's my dog. I had to throw up the T for him because he's Tongan and everything, and so my Polynesian brother had to show love to him, and he was, super excited just because, it was like his 5th play, and just went out there and got a, sack, and so I was happy for him. I mean, if you can't be happy for your teammates, you should be out there. I mean, seeing all the boys get sacked, seeing Max get a sack, and the play wasn't even over, and I was already jumping up like happy, just with a big smile, just because I see how much work they put in Max. He really cares about this. To see him go out there, have a 2-sack game, yeah, great feeling. As a teammate, being able to see your boy go out there and ball.
How do you use this to fuel for next week now?
Just stacking 1-0 every week. Just keep stacking bricks because, you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low, you want to stay in the middle, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
You feel like you believe in momentum? Do you think this could?
Yeah, for sure. It's just not, getting too far ahead of yourself, obviously, because this is NFL, it's professional, the National Football League, anything can happen. You want to put that work in during the week and come, great game plan for the Chiefs and, go out there and execute. Don't want to get too high, don't want to get too low, obviously.
After a win like this, does the energy of the defense change heading into this week?
Obviously, when you out there making plays, that energy is just, it's contagious. And so, everybody feeding off each other. That's what you want. It's like a snowball effect. And so that snowball is rolling down that hill and, everybody's just out there balling, hair on fire, playing, running around and, having fun. That's the biggest thing about football is just going out there having fun.
You said you guys were so close, to forcing turnovers and takeaways, man. And what was the difference for you guys today?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, it's just putting extra emphasis, doing the little things right this week at practice and just going out there, everybody cheering on your brother, being out there and, that juice is contagious, like I said, and, man, just going out there and executing.
This is the type of stuff that you want to see out of your role players, guys that are just really involved in the game and involved in the teammates doing well and doing their job to help free up their teammates. The way that he was so excited about Lecky Fotu getting a sack and the way he was really pumped up to make a tackle for loss and pumped up even when plays were being made behind him. This is what we need. This is what we saw in the latter half of the 2023 season with Antonio Pierce. Is this defense was really pulling for each other, and these they weren't the best defense out there. They weren't the most talented defense out there, but what they were is the guys that played together really well. And the glue of that is, of course, Maxx Crosby. He's the glue guy for the entire team. This is something that we need to realize moving forward, that Maxx Crosby is great. Maxx Crosby can affect games and drives and change games by himself, but he needs help. He needs other guys to be able to do things, to be able to help free him or take advantage of all the attention that they're giving the people that are blocking Maxx Crosby. If he's getting double and triple teamed every single time, we need other guys to win their blocks and win their battles to be able to put that constant pressure on the quarterback. It's one thing going against Cam Ward. It's a different thing going against Patrick Mahomes. You have to get into his face. You have to get him off his timing, and you have to make sure that when you pressure him, when you grab him, you put him on the ground. You don't let him because he'll throw passes getting sacked. We got to make sure that we stay on our P's and Q's against this guy because him more than I think anyone else in the NFL can make a sack into a touchdown within a blink of an eye. Let's hear what Maxx Crosby had to say about his effort, his three tackles, but I mean, he was double, triple team, but he had multiple pressures, tackles for loss, sacks, quarterback hits. He did it all again. So let's hear what he had to say about the game and what this defense is doing now to be more successful and what they need to do moving forward.
You just describe the feeling in the room after this one, getting back on track?
Yeah, it was awesome. We every time we come out to play on Sundays, we expect to win, and today we did that. So hasn't been exactly the results we've wanted, but just about staying the course and continuing to prove. And we had a really good week of practice and translated to the field. So we definitely have some things to clean up as well. We know that, but yeah, it definitely feels good. Getting a win.
Can you talk about the position group, the D line, and felt like everybody was kind of flying around out there?
Yeah, it's awesome. The standard we set for ourselves in that room is top tier. Love those guys, man. We have a ton of young guys proving themselves and guys with a ton of energy. So it's a blessing being able to go to work with them every day.
Max, how much do you feel like the players meeting was a positive? And
It's complete. I don't know who made that up, and I hear different random shit all the time. So I don't know who came up with that, but that was 100% false. So I don't know where that comes from.
Max, earlier this week, Patrick Graham said he was tired of the talk. He was ready for you guys to do it. Was that the mentality going into the game this week?
100%. Anybody could talk, but when it really comes down to it, it's about going out there and getting the results. And it comes from the preparation and, focus on where your feet are at, not worrying about, tomorrow, worry about yesterday, just being exactly where you're at. And it's going to give you the better chance, to be at your best, the next day. So that's our mindset. And, like I said, we had a really good week of practice and we have awesome guys in this locker room. So it was really cool, being out there and seeing all the guys flying around.
Lance, as a team, you guys had 6 sacks. How easy is it to really get after the quarterback and rush the pass when you stop the run as well as you did today?
Yeah, it's everything matters. Playing complementary football, we know that. And it goes with special teams, with offense. The offense is scoring points, moving the ball. It just makes everything easier. And we talk about it as a unit. We're very open and honest. We have. Every Monday it's Tell the Truth Monday. We go in there and, how are we going to help each other out? How are we going to, put ourselves in more, easier situations where we can go be at our best. And, it's on all of us to be at our best. Our defense, we haven't been at our best all year. The offense hasn't, the special teams haven't, but I know we're focused on getting better, and that's all you can do. So yeah, we've just stayed together, through all the things going on around us and, staying focused on what matters, and that's, trying to get wins.
Heading to Kansas City next week, how much do you take from this game and how much do you put behind you?
I mean, you got to treat the losses and the wins, almost the same, because you can't get too high, can't get too low. You got to be even keeled. You got to be calm in the storm, and you got to be the storm. You know what I mean? You can't be riding the roller coaster all the time. If you are the storm, you control the outcome of what's about to happen. So I feel like that's kind of our mentality, is just not getting too high, too low, no matter if it's win or loss. So we, obviously we're trying to, have this feeling more often. That's the ultimate goal. We want to win. But like you said, like just because we won doesn't mean you just forget about all the things that we got to fix. So we got to address, more things as well. But I think we're going in the right direction. So it's just one day at a time mentality.
I feel like before I ask my question, the ice is looking nice.
Appreciate it.
It's nice. So now for the question. It wasn't just one guy on defense. It was multiple guys. What does that do for you as a group when everyone's chipping in?
Yeah, we can't do it alone. It can't just be one guy. It can't just be a couple guys. It's got to be all of us, doing our 111th. And, Coach McMahon, our special teams coach, talks about it all the time. Just do your 111th and dominate your role. And everybody's going to have, the optimal, success that you can possibly have. If you're just focus on your, selfish things and I need to get mine and da-da-da-da-da, you're, ultimately you're not going to get what you want and you're going to hurt the team. And if you're doing it with no intent to receive, it's going to come back twofold. And I truly, believe in that.
What kind of spark is Devin White in the locker room?
Oh, he's been awesome. Dev is, he's a character to say the least. But yeah, he's been awesome. With him, coming in, trying to prove himself. He's had a lot of success in this league. He's moved around, in the last couple of years, but, having him being here, and just seeing, the energy he brings has been really cool. So, me and him got an awesome relationship, and it's just about, holding each other accountable at all times. That's what it's all about. Me and him, we go back and forth and talk our practice and, whether it's the locker room, whether it's practice field, whatever it is, like, it's that competition to try to just, always be the one bringing the most juice and the most energy and the most, the best execution, who's making the most plays. That's what I feel like when you have that healthy competition, it's just going to help, the team overall.
On top of that, how do guys like Jamal Adams and Jeremy Chin also play into that?
Oh, yeah. No, those guys are awesome. Chin's a little bit more quiet, but he's a great dude, great teammate. And just the energy and the way he plays the game, he flies around and he has no fear when he's out there on the field. So when you have a guy like that on the back end and being able to, move him around in a lot of different spots, his versatility helps our defense a lot. So he's been incredible, since he's been here. He's one of those guys, there's no nonsense, good to work. And he's been an awesome teammate. But Jamal Adams, another guy, I've known him, like I said, since high school. The energy he brings, the way he plays on the field, he's all over the place. And, he's been a big part of our defense. And he's another guy. He's versatile. Play him inside, he can blitz him off the edge, he can come up the middle, he can do a lot of different things. So, like I said, he's just a great locker room and a great standard setter, you know what I mean, for our team and our defense. So yeah, got nothing but good things to say about those guys.
And then one more in the first half. You made a tackle. It was 1st and 10. You made a tackle at the sticks at the first down. Do you take pride in being able to cover so much of the field?
Yeah, I was, being relentless. I got it freaking tatted on me, so I can see it every day when I'm taking my notes. It's the first thing I see. You got to be relentless out there. If you want to be different, you got to be, you got to act different. You got to be consistent to that all the time. So whether I got to sack the quarterback or get a TFL or bat the ball or run somebody down on the sideline, I'm going to be able to do that to help my team win. That's all that matters.
Max, first of all,
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
and
Absolutely.
second of all, speaking of relationships and going at it each other, I seen you mention you've got Casey next week and that relationship. Can you talk a little bit about facing Mahomes and how quickly are you going to start practicing for him?
Yeah, it never stops. I'm gonna, obviously get home to my family. It's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, so I'm definitely gonna be spending time with my girls. But yeah, it starts right away. It's people say 24-hour rule. It's basically like maybe 12 for me, and then I start getting prepared for the next week and figuring out what I can improve off of, and then start breaking down the film one day at a time, getting ready for KC. But yeah, me and Pat, we've had some history. Everyone knows that. It's ultimate respect. When somebody that is obsessed with the game and is willing to go to the farthest extent to win, just like yourself, like it brings the best out of each other. So I can't wait. But there's a lot of work to do until then. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Max, we saw you talking to Booker, giving some tidbits to Booker. We see Jonah taking off. How good does it feel for you when the advice that you give them works out?
It's not about me. I just try to, show them. I just feel like when you have guys that are, coming up in the league and younger guys, I think the confidence part is the biggest thing. As far as, taking that next step as a player. So for me, I'm just always staying in their ear, and just telling them to trust their work. You know what I mean? They're out there for a reason. And you just see them evolving, and it's been so cool. Jonah's playing his ass off. He's making more and more plays every week. Booker, that dude is a freaking refrigerator. That can fly. So he's a scary combination of talent that can go out there and make plays. So we have a lot of guys that are trying to prove themselves, and whatever I can do to try to help them, I'm gonna do. So yeah, I love those guys, man. They're playing their ass off.
Max, a similar kind of question.
Last question, guys.
A little bit about Tyree. Comes up with the fumble recovery today, and knowing practice, spend a lot of time with him. Just how do you feel about how he's coming along and the game he had today?
Yeah, Tyree's doing awesome. He's matured so much in the last couple of years. He's another guy, he stays in my corner. You know what I mean? He's with me every day. We work every single day. I give him a hard time. He gives me a hard time too, even though he's a younger dude. But he's really evolving just as a person and as a player. And, if I had any type of effect on that, it mean the world to me, because I really do love the dude. He's a hell of a player and a hell of a person, and he's just continuing to get better. And I just, expect him to just keep, going in that direction, because, he's learning how to be professional. He's learning how to work, and you just see it coming to life on Sundays.
A pretty extensive scrum for Maxx Crosby. This is, I think, the longest one that we've had out of him. But there's a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of things that we could take home about how he feels about this defensive line. There's a challenge that's going to be coming up with the Chiefs. And the last time we went in there and we won, Malcolm Koonce had a big game. I think he had 2 sacks. We need to get that similar production from someone opposite Maxx Crosby. It can't just be Maxx Crosby alone. They're going to give him fits. They're going to put so many guys on him. They're going to throw everything. They're going to throw the sink at him. They're going to chip him with a back, have a tight end for him to run through, then a tackle for him to run through. They're going to have so many different things and so many different ways to get to Maxx Crosby. We need to have other guys who step up. Malcolm Koonce did not record a stat in the game. He had no tackles, no sacks, no tackles, none of that. He needs to step up. Malcolm Koonce needs to be the guy, just like he was a few years ago when we won in Kansas City. Malcolm Koonce needs to be that guy to be able to free up other guys as well. It's not just enough for Maxx Crosby to dominate. We had to have other guys consistently dominate. So you have to game plan. You have to shift the line. You have to shift the blocking schemes to cover 2 guys now. That's when you get the guys like the Bookers and the Laulus and the Tyree Wilson, those guys making big plays. This is imperative that someone else has a big game on the defensive line. If it's just Maxx Crosby, they can deal with that and Mahomes is going to go crazy. Another thing I want to get in this last game against the Titans, it wasn't just the 6 sacks. We also had 7 tackles for loss. I count a tackle for loss just as good as a sack because it's a negative play. So I really want to focus on the fact that there was 13 of them in this last game against the Titans. We need to have that similar effort, maybe even more against the Chiefs if we're going to have a shot to get them off the field and give our offense a chance to have some short fields. The main thing for us is the defense is run by this defensive line. This defensive line needs to step up huge. I'm not saying that the other guys don't, but if there's one group in this defense that needs to step up and have it be the most bang for the buck and the most damage it can make to the offense of the Chiefs, it's the defensive line of the Las Vegas Raiders. Raider Nation, you guys know what's up, man. You guys know that when this defensive line is on, no matter what team it is, no matter what decade it is, when we have that big, mean, nasty, quick, fast bulldozer of a defensive line, that's when we have big seasons and big wins. So we need these guys to step up and keep progressing. It's not enough that we did better than the previous 4 weeks. We need to be better than that. We need to keep improving and moving forward. And that's the mark of a true good team, is they continue to improve throughout the season. They don't teeter off or they don't level out or plateau. They continue to find ways to get better. This defensive line is a scratch on the surface. If this defensive line continues to improve, we're going to have a great shot against the Chiefs on Sunday. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. It's the bare minimum we can do to support the channel besides doing not just watching the video. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. You know what it is, man. It's membership. It's $5 a month. You get the videos right away. You get a free live watch party with me who's members only. You also get a chance to be on the screen yourself, give your analysis, say what's up to everybody, and just have a good time with us, man. If you want to do it, great. It's only $5. If you don't or you can't, that's fine too. I'm still going to give you one of these videos every single day. All right, I need you guys to do one more thing for me, okay? You know what it is. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. That's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.